Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Good Friday out there to everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of the Auburn Blitz. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee here with you on this Friday. Glad that you've joined us wherever it is that you might be tuning us in, of course, on Facebook Live and around the state of Alabama on Charter Cable, Channel 701, Channel 80. You can tune us in, but we want to hear from you today. Hopefully have Jason Caldwell on like we normally do on Fridays, but it is busy in Auburn this weekend, prepping for the ADay game. Brian Harsin. We'll talk about that a lot, today as far as who we want to watch. There's not as far as a lot of depth on this ADay. He talked about it, Randy, this week of how they're going to conduct this particular ADay game because of injuries, because of lack of depth and stuff like that. But I am hearing a lot more positive vibes, and the positive vibes are coming from the players. That's the good thing. So maybe get out there and see Robbie Ashford in action, Jason Jones, some of these guys that haven't been in an Auburn uniform before, and see how they do. I think we're looking for a bright spot from the quarterback position for sure, because TJ Finley a little less than stellar to be kind of honest about it at the end of last year. So has he made any strides? Will we see any difference in TJ Finley out there tomorrow? I know we don't get a lot out of these ADay games, but it is ADay. It's supposed to be a pretty day. It's a good opportunity to take your family down there. It's the only time you'll get to see this team really this spring before it's time for fall camp. So it's just a good, fun day.
I agree. When you've got question marks around the quarterback position, that's going to be where a lot of the eyeballs are. And when you watch over the years with TJ Finley, even back to his LSU days, I don't know if you'll see much, Brett. Based off of –
I think we already know what we're going to see.
Well, the issue that I always see with him is he mobile enough to get out of pressure situations? And when you've got, the yellow jersey on or the orange jersey or whatever color jersey you want to put on to not have any contact, hard to see what type of plays that you can make with your legs. It was always my main complaint with trying to diagnose what Malik Willis could do out there on the field for Auburn. When you're out there in a non-contact drill, you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
But if you put a superstar athlete that can make plays with his legs and with his arms by moving around, changes the whole dynamic of the game. And we see his move over to Liberty. We saw that happen.
Now he's going to be a top draft pick.
Top draft pick. The last number I saw on him was a top 20 draft pick.
Right.
The number one quarterback off the board.
How big is that? I mean, I want to stop there because I know you were the biggest proponent of Malik Willis of all of us. We all liked Malik Willis, thought he was a good quarterback, but I think we all tried to defend Malzahn in our mind to come up with excuses of why he wasn't getting on the field. And at the end of the day, football's football. And if you can play the game, if you got the talent, usually, I know we were both sick of hearing, well, I guess he can't pick up on the offense. Well, that proved to be the dumbest thing that you could say, because look at what he's doing now. That's another guy that got away from Auburn that – we had him. We had him on the roster. He stuck it out. Now, again, he's come out since then and said, now, I matured when I left Auburn. He said, there was a lot of things I wasn't doing to be the best quarterback I need to be. So it wasn't all Gus Malzahn. There were probably some things they weren't seeing in practice that, we're not privy to. But maybe that change made him into who he is today. But this, again, will be a guy that had ties to Auburn that will be a top 20 draft pick.
Well, let me say, the reason that I was so staunch for him getting an opportunity at Auburn was because at the time I was such a big fan of Gus Malzahn.
Right.
I was. Gus Malzahn ends up at Auburn, puts together a great offense with Cam Newton, and we saw what he could build around.
And then follows him up with Nick Marshall.
Then Nick Marshall comes in, and after even the 2014 season where we just couldn't stop anybody, we moved the ball at will against just about every team that we played, including the bowl game that year, and including on the road at Alabama.
Yeah, put 55, put 40 4 points on the board.
So it was mainly me up here not necessarily throwing darts at the coach. It was like, gosh, I like Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that we're turning the tide when it comes to defensive play, no pun intended.
Yeah.
We were really starting to play well defensively, and if we could go back to the system that he had shown a propensity to have really solid offenses with, and, you know, I looked over there, Malik Willis was the imps of Nick Marshall, and a better arm, a little bit more groomed quarterback look to him.
You remember that throw he made in the ADay game? That's the one that stood out to me because everybody's like, well, I don't know if he can make throws. And he made a hell of a throw in the end zone.
Oh, yeah, right corner.
Oh, right corner, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. You know, so we knew he could run, but then you saw that, and you're like, man, this guy's a no-brainer.
That throw and that ADay game is the reason I brought that up now, not because I want to go over and cry over spilt milk. It's because you do have to kind of take what you're going to see when you've got no-contact drills going on with quarterbacks, and you've got to go in your mind, can this guy make plays when he's got pressure on him? That's where T.J. Finley struggled last year. When pressure was brought on T.J. Finley, who's got a great arm, love his demeanor. I think he's got great leadership qualities. When I watch him on the sideline, I think all the players around him like T.J. Finley. I want to cheer for the guy. But in the game, when the game speeds up and you put pressure on him, he tends to lose a grip on the pass. Right. You know, the short passes become tough passes.
Right.
Things don't seem as easy as they do when it's non-contact drill. So I don't know how much you can take from that, but I think we will be able to take a little bit of what we see with our eyes. I remember going to the ADay game with Cody Burns play quarterback. I remember calling you when I was leaving, and I won't forget it. And I said to myself, if Cody Burns our quarterback,
I remember
we're in
trouble.
We're in a lot.
And this is
trouble.
A 5-star guy coming from Arkansas that everybody's like, man, this is a 5-star quarterback.
Well, it was because just watching him throw the football
with his hands.
And I don't know how big his hands were. I don't know much about it. All I know is that he couldn't throw the football.
He couldn't throw the football.
I think all these guys can. I mean, Zach Calzada really can spin the football.
Can throw it, man.
I've watched Robbie Ashford a lot in high school. I see his size. I see his length. I think he has no problem throwing the football wherever he wants to on the field.
Right.
Same with T.J. Finley. When T.J. Finley's going and things are – and he's got time to sit back in the pocket and deliver, he can do that. So, you know, I think that's where a lot of eyeballs will be tomorrow.
I was just on Gary's show, as I am every Friday, Gary Harris up in Tuscaloosa, and he and I were trading some Robbie Ashford stories on there because he follows high school just as much as we do.
Probably was calling the television call when you and I were calling the state championship.
Probably was. But Robbie Ashford, he's like, look, man, he said, I know nobody's really talking a lot about this kid, but he said, this guy's got a chance to come in and be dynamic at Auburn. He said, you know, depending on how Brian Harsin wants to use him, he said, I know he went to Oregon. I mean, Auburn really is funny. Auburn traded Bo Nix for 3 Oregon players. But they're all homegrown Alabama guys that are coming back to Alabama that went out to Oregon. And the reason they went out to Oregon was because Mario Cristobal had such good ties in the state, he was able to convince them to come out there.
Yes.
He leaves. They want to come back home, which, I mean, obviously for whatever reasons. So Jason Jones, who played at Calera High School, comes back. He's going to be a really big piece of that defensive line. Robbie Ashford's a Hoover guy, man. When he was the quarterback at Hoover, they were as good as anybody. And he's a 4-star guy that, again, fresh start. It was between Auburn and Ole Miss anyway. Back in his recruiting, I remember it just like it was yesterday. It was he had determined if he was going to play football, because he's a good baseball player too, it was going to be between Ole Miss and Auburn. And then he ends up at Oregon, which kind of threw everybody for a loop. But it was Mario Cristobal that was able to convince him. I'm excited about seeing this guy tomorrow. I mean, you know, we can kind of pander on some negative stuff. But look, you got to go with the cards you dealt.
Yes.
And so nobody feels sorry for you. I said this on Gary's show today, and I'd like to know your opinion on it. The offensive line, and I know people probably going to wreck when they hear this if they're driving. The offensive line could be the strong suit for this team this year. It really could, because through the veteran leadership, being there, some of these guys have had to battle injuries. You know, they're highly ranked guys, but they've had some issues that have stuck it out and they're coming back. You know, there's some unproven guys up there too because of whatever reason, but all these guys have been there for a long time. And there's a lot that can be said about experience. Take that for what it's worth. That's something that Auburn could possibly lean. It could be something that's been the doldrum the last 3 or 4 years, could be the bright spot this year.
I don't know if I'll go as far as you went there, but I think it can be solid. And over the last few years, if Auburn just had a solid offensive front that you could count on and maybe one guy be a standout, that's always been our MO. Can we get a Greg Robinson to be a standout? Can we get a Lee Zimba to be a standout? Can we go and find someone on one side of the line that we can really run behind and really key in on? I'd like for it not to be that way, but it would be nice if we could. Last couple of years, I can't name a guy that.
Well, there hasn't been, right, and there's been so much inconsistency at positions. You know, flipping and flopping and putting guys. Get some guys in a position where they can feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And you know, Killian Zaire. If it's him, if it's Nick Brahms being there for forever, is it him? You know, some of these guys that have an opportunity to really kind of take the next step. Again, I really think, and I'll eat my words, it could be one of the strong suits of this team. And it has been one of the weakest parts of Auburn's football team the last 3 or 4 years. So just by default and experience, I think could go a long way. For the offensive line that's coming up here. And we'll get a chance to see them tomorrow in the ADay game. Up against our first break of the program. Stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
New Chevrolet and GMC trucks plus sport utilities are rolling into Glenn Smith in Opelika. Stop in and see us or check out our inventory at glennsmith.com and see what's coming in. You can buy them before they get here. Plus, you'll get any incentives like big factory cash rebates or low APR financing. Silverados, Sierras, Equinox, Yukons, and more.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, Mortgage Pro there at McKinley Team, and Big Fish Real Estate Group at Lake Martin. Glad to have those three wonderful companies as our corporate partners here on the Auburn Blitz, able to bring you this program every single day, Monday through Friday, from noon to 1, talking about the ADay game. Jason Caldwell will be on with us at 12:36, so you want to hang on for that. We will clip that and put it out on our social media for people to catch later on if they're not able to catch it live. Let's go to the phone lines and welcome in one of our most distinct callers and guest, Terry. Terry, what's up, brother?
Guys, how you doing? Brad, Randy, how y'all doing?
Man, we're good.
Terry. Glad to have you on, buddy.
Good to talk to y'all as always. Guys, y'all were talking a little bit about the previous regime and Gus Malzahn. I always felt like Gus Malzahn fell more in love with what he wanted than what he needed, and that's how I summed it up. Because what worked for him, he tended to get away from. I mean, how many guys that recruited Jared Stidham and turned down Lamar Jackson?
Well, I'm gonna correct you on that. That Lamar Jackson, they picked Tyler Queen over Lamar Jackson, but Jared Stidham was on past that point. So, he did pick Tyler Queen over Lamar Jackson.
That sounds worse.
That is worse.
His own mouth that Auburn was a heavy lean toward. He was leaning to go there. So one time I heard him say that.
I hate to bust the bubble of that, but that's the true picture, because I know we've been talking about that. But, I'll say this too, Terry. Jared Stidham saved Gus Malzahn from being fired 2 years previous.
I don't disagree with that at all.
The best recruit he was able to go in and get, because at that time Auburn was faced with, if they don't pull Jared Stidham in, I don't know who's going to be the quarterback. And he came in and played great. Of course, the next year he kind of tailed off like we saw with most quarterbacks under Gus Malzahn. Things kind of went a little bit south. But that first year, he was still – I have no complaints with getting Jared Stidham in 17.
Well, did Jared Stidham get recruited by the same time as Deshaun Watson? Because I feel like Deshaun Watson was a better fit. I think he was going to Clemson all along, quite honestly.
Yeah, I don't think Watson ever really considered going anywhere.
Stidham was a late get from Baylor.
Yeah, he was a transfer.
Was transferring out of Baylor, where he'd had a pretty good freshman year.
Yeah,
and was a high, commodity. What was he, a 5-star?
Oh yeah, for
one of
sure.
the top dual threat quarterbacks in the country,
Right.
and so it was a good get. But I'm with you. I didn't realize the Tyler Queen and
it was Tyler Queen we picked over Lamar Jackson. So
I was never a Jared Stidham fan, because I just thought he was just plain selfish. And I thought when he went to the Patriots, I said, well, selfish and arrogant deserve selfish and arrogant.
I like Jared Stidham. I thought he played really well in 17. Looked like he was distracted in 18. A lot of stuff.
A lot of the distraction was that offensive line he had in front of him.
True. And then
the
Tennessee game really kind of put the nail in the coffin for that season. We always seem to have, a game or two every year when we're expected to do something great that just doesn't turn out, and it kind of makes the season mediocre. But I don't really have any complaints. Jared Stidham played well, got us to an SEC championship along with Kerryon Johnson in 2017. Hey, I'll take 2 or 3 of those guys a year.
See, I know I've been overly critical of Brian Harsin. I don't particularly care. I don't really believe he wants to be there. I don't deep down. I know he's putting on a facade, but that's what I think. But here's the thing: I'm not really concerned about Brian Harsin's coaching ability because I don't think that's a question. I think the guy can coach. But what I question is recruiting, and I know both of you guys have commented on that. And I think Auburn's digging himself in a hole with that, and that's what concerns me greatly. I don't question his coaching at all.
The recruiting is imminent this year. Okay. There's no argument. There's no getting around that. It is. He has to come through this year with this class. This Alabama class is the most loaded class that we've ever had in the state history since they've been providing star rankings by all these recruiting services. There's 20 guys with a 4 or 5 star ranking, and there's going to be more when the reevaluation period comes along later on in the season. I mean, Jason Caldwell will be on with us a little bit later, and I've talked about it. There's a chance that could be up to 30 guys in this class this year with at least a 4-star ranking. That's how deep this class is. Auburn's got to get their fair share, man. There is no question about it. If they don't, then I think a change will be imminent. When that change will happen, I don't know, but a change will be imminent because you can't recruit in the 20s and 30s in this league and be successful.
Well, you remember back when Terry Bowden was let go at Auburn, a lot of that had to do with recruiting, and the people forget that. He was lackadaisical and just plain lazy, quite honestly, reading his own clippings about recruiting. And I remember Neil McCready commenting on that he was fired because of recruiting, and that people don't want to accept that, but he was.
Let me tell you about Nick Saban. Nick Saban is a great coach, but he's a better recruiter. And you can win a lot of games by just having the best players. Okay.
Yeah, when you got your 2 biggest rivals in Alabama and Georgia doing what they're doing, you better do what you said, Brett.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty clear and evident that you got to be able to coach. You got to have good coordinators. But Nick Saban's proven guys can come and go in your program. But if you have the blueprint laid of what you want, and you're able to go out and get the best recruits year in and year out, then you've already won half the battle before you even step on the field because my guys are better than yours. So I've got to play bad, and they've got to play above their head to just have a chance to beat me. That's why you haven't seen Nick Saban hardly ever get blown out since he's at Alabama. When he does lose, it's on a last second or somebody kicks a game-ending field goal or something like that. This guy has the best players year in and year out, and he's got depth. And so that's how Nick Saban's built this program.
Yeah, another thing he's doing, Brett and Randy, is he's getting guys in the NFL, and that is attractive to the young men in the high school ranks right now. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, Terry. Appreciate it. It all starts with recruiting, man.
I think it also starts with, and the thing that I think he's great at is setting up a culture internally where no matter who the coordinators are, this is kind of the way that we do things.
Right.
You see Aggie Hall right now. I mean, you watched that guy in the championship game last year.
Dropped 2 big passes.
Well, you saw the athleticism, though.
Yeah.
You know how great, what kind of 5-star recruit he was. But if you don't fit in.
But Saban made a point after that game. He said, we had guys that had a chance to step up in this game. He called him out.
And now he's pretty much kicked him off the team. I don't know if he's completely off.
No, he's in the portal today.
But, that's when you know you're doing something. When you're able to say 5-star, top 5 receiver in the country, and you're not going to act right here?
Right.
I got a couple more over here on the side.
That makes life a lot easier. And I think, too, when you have that culture instilled and you got that assembly line of guys coming in, it makes it easier to kick him off. That's why some of these other programs, a la Auburn lately, when you get a 5-star and he messes up, you're not as apt to kick him off as quick because you're like, man, I kind of need that guy. But if he messes up too much, you got to go. At Alabama, you got a short leash, man. You can't abide by the rules. You get gone. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done. Day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
Russell Building Supply and Home Center is just around the corner in a brand new convenient location with a wide selection of grills, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. The new store offers more home improvement items along with other helpful conveniences like a drive-through lumber yard and our Best Rewards program, making it an ideal destination for do-it-yourselfers and professional contractors. Get ready for game day on the plains by stocking up on all your Auburn tailgating gear at Russell Building Supply and Home Center.
What's up, everybody? Jackson Hodges here with Main Street Anniston, and do I have some exciting news for you? It's the 20th anniversary of the Noble Street Festival in Sunny King Criterium, the biggest event in Calhoun County each year. You don't want to miss it. There'll be a free kids zone, food, vendors, all sorts of things. We'll have combat parks, so be sure to come down to Noble Street on April 9th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. to experience this once-in-a-lifetime event.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Halfway through the program today, we'll have Jason Caldwell on the next segment. Looking forward to having him on. ADay at Auburn tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That game will be on, what will be on SEC Network. I couldn't remember if it was ESPN2 or what, but it's SEC Network at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow, Brian Harsin, as I talked to you about early in the first segment, may do things a little bit different when you see this game. Maybe a little bit more 7-on-7 look on some skill position stuff rather than the traditional 50-50 split where you got, offense versus defense. But there'll be some different things that mixed up. You'll see some individual work, but then there'll be some live contact stuff as well. But just because of injuries and guys that are sidelined, but you'll see an opportunity for some guys that you haven't seen in an Auburn uniform yet be able to take the field and be able to do some things. I know we talked about Robbie Ashford. Sean Jackson, who we just mentioned, is from Hewitt-Trussville. Just got offered a scholarship as a walk-on. You know, this kid really deserves a shot. He'll get a shot now. That Jarquez Hunter has to be sidelined because of a leg injury. We really need him back, but you'll see Sean Jackson a bunch. A lot of people have been talking about Tavares Dawson at wide receiver. He's going to have an opportunity to step up just because of the exit of Kobe Hudson and some guys that aren't there any longer on that receiving core. Brandon Frazier's a massive individual at tight end. Hadn't really done anything since he's been at Auburn. He was a 4-star guy out of Texas, but he, 6'7", and he's taking big strides according to Brad Beadle, the tight end coach. So good to see him. Of course, you got Shanker back. I did like to see that the tight end got implemented in the offense a lot more last year than we've seen in the last 15 at Auburn. So, maybe C.J. Uzoma, the last time we really saw a tight end be thrown to. But Auburn's got a good slew of tight ends that they can use, and Shanker coming back is a big plus, but can Brandon Frazier step up too?
Well, it depends on the offense that we want to implement. If the tight end becomes more of a blocking resource that Auburn may have, I think Brandon Frazier can be, a really good piece there. We already know Shanker's a good blocker. He's a good, big, physical-looking tight end. And then I thought Auburn later in the season with Landon King, he didn't end up with a lot of catches last year, but the opportunities that he got, you saw the athleticism that he brought to the game, and I think he'll be a dual threat. He'll kind of go out to a slot receiver position as well as playing the tight end.
Right.
And he's the one from an athleticism standpoint I'd like to see the ball in his hands a little more, Brett.
Got some comments coming in. Ty said, is there anyone in the transfer portal in basketball that Auburn is looking at and might be a good three-point shooter? Yes, there's several guys. It's nothing anything firm, but I know that there's several guys that Bruce Pearl has his eye on, and he's going to utilize the transfer portal like he did last year. And that's one thing that when you're on top, right now we're not on top in football, but we're on top in basketball. And the portal is good for teams that are on top because they get to go out there and cherry pick. Players want to come. Now, I did see a comment from Jimbo Fisher. I mean, sometimes Jimbo just be quiet. I mean, he's like, oh, there's a lot of tampering going on in the portal. Well, no kidding, man. He's like, well, it's just amazing how many times a guy enters the portal and he already knows where he's going. He immediately goes there. Well, no kidding, man. Did anybody not think for a second that there would be means to reach out to players on other teams and say, hey, man, if you get in the portal, we'll pick you up and you got a chance to play over here? I mean, he just sometimes says things that we all knew that you were going to have to battle, but he brings it out like Texas A&M's getting a screw job, that they're trying to do it right over there. We only took 2 players in the portal this year, which was way under the number of what most teams take. He always tries to play, I do it all above board, when we all know he's just as dirty as anybody else. Just shut up, man. We know that there are things that nefarious go on in college sports, but anybody that had any type of sense knew there would be some push in this portal to try to get people to transfer.
Well, I mean, anybody that knows his background as well.
I mean, nobody listening to
Look,
that.
Auburn's got a decent understanding of Jimbo Fisher's background. The Auburn people that were around when he was around knew what Jimbo was all about.
I was a student worker down there while he was on staff.
Well, and the way that he handled the Jameis Winston situation and the way that he went out the back door at Florida State, and that program's still in shambles with the way that he left it. So
destroyed.
I don't have a lot of respect for him. I think he's an outstanding recruiter.
Do you know he has the same, I sent that over to y'all, the same exact record through 48 games as Kevin Sumlin did. He has the same amount of SEC championships as Kevin Sumlin did, 0. He has the same amount of bowl wins, 3. And he's got the same amount of wins over Alabama, 1. Because when you say why you talk about that, well, Alabama's the standard in the West. And so he's beaten Alabama 1 time since he's been to A&M, and it was this past year. And Zach Calzada happened to play out of his mind is the reason why Texas A&M won that ball game. So, Jimbo Fisher, with all the resources, they signed 7 5-stars this year, which was more than the Big Ten and the ACC combined. But they didn't do anything. This was all because people wanted to come to A&M.
With a $30+ million in
they didn't spend $30 million. And that's just what, he got on there, and remember, he went on a tirade, and he started calling everybody else out, going, we know everybody else has been cheating, but they can't just come to Texas A&M, just because they're coming to A&M, we have to be cheating. Well, yeah, man. You went from hardly getting ever 5 stars to getting 7 in 1 year.
He's pulled that off wherever he's been. So you got to give him that. Look, I can read into those rankings and I can read into the records that you just brought up.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will defend him on, I don't like Jimbo Fisher any more than the next man. The guy can recruit. And that's the thing that Brian Harson's got to prove to us Auburn fans, that he can get us however you got to do it.
Yeah,
you got to start recruiting in that realm.
And one more thing, we'll get a break. Jimbo now, with all these players, he got produced.
Yeah.
8-4 ain't good enough at A&M.
I agree with
the
you
resources and the recruits he's got. Up against another break. When we come back, Jason Caldwell from inside the Auburn Tigers. Stay tuned.
Lake Martin has a new car buying experience. It's the TR Group of Alex City on Cherokee Road. The TR Group has up to 100 late model vehicles to choose from and will not be beat on price, selection, or financing. With the TR Group, your selection and quality is easy and your good credit is rewarded. But we offer guaranteed financing on our inventory because your future is more important than your past. The TR Group, Lake Martin's new standard in auto sales. Located at 814 Cherokee Road, Alex City, USA.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Whether you prefer bricks, clicks, or taps, there's one place built around all your needs. For whatever it is you want to do. Even if your needs change, we'll be right there with you, making it all possible. Because you never know when a new addition will come along. So walk in, log on, or tap away. Either way, Valley's built to help you do you. Wherever life takes you, we'll be right there with you.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Alex City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs. Or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
The water level may be down, but that doesn't mean it's not a great time to consider selling your lake home, acreage, or condo, as it's worth more money now than ever before, as there are far more buyers than there are homes available. Ask yourself, how much money am I leaving on the table, and why am I trying to do this alone when I can call Century 21 Lake Area Realty and get more for my property than what it's worth and let them do all the work?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskin, Century 21 Lake Area Realty. We're ready to jump in and do the work for you.
Call 256-825-4800. Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River Region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com.
Brubaker, Brubaker, Brubaker.
You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER. BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz here, brought to you by Russell Do It Center Building Supply Stores, Mortgage Pro there, McKinley Team, and Big Fish Real Estate Group at Lake Martin. We'll go to the phone lines now. Welcome in our good friend Jason Caldwell with Inside the Auburn Tigers. Jason, out there in about 30-mile-an-hour gusts. Don't get blown away, brother.
No, yeah, it's a little breezy. Going to be breezy tomorrow. Going to make for a chilly night tonight for Auburn baseball against Vandy. So yeah, it's at least it's sunny and not flooding rains and thunderstorms. So we'll take it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jason, let's jump in because I want to get right to it. ADay tomorrow. There's been a lot of talk this spring about what Brian Harsin hadn't been able to do or what he's been able to do because of injuries and the things that are going on. What are you looking for tomorrow or looking forward to the most with this ADay? I know there's some players that haven't had an Auburn jersey on before that we'll see for the first time. But what are you wanting to take away from this?
Yeah, it's going to be more of a scrimmage. They're not going to be able to play a full-fledged game, and so it's going to be more of a scrimmage type situation. Fans in the stands, and so you have to start at quarterback. See how those guys handle it, especially a guy like Robbie Ashford. He's really talented, physically gifted, skilled guy. Can he go out there and run an offense? Can you run the show? That's the thing that I want to see. And then can you find a playmaker? Whether it be another running back like Sean Jackson, but more specifically, can you find a playmaker at wide receiver? That's the thing that they got to find. They got to find somebody that can make plays, down the field with the ball in their hands, whatever it is. They got to be able to find a guy like that. Tavares Dawson is a guy that I'm kind of looking at to see if he can be a guy. Obviously Malcolm Johnson has the speed to stretch the field. To me, those are the spots I look at. I think lines of scrimmage, they're still in pretty good shape, but physically, you're going to need to add some depth there out of the portal, probably, especially on the defensive line at the edge position. But to me, it's playmakers. Can you find a playmaker on defense? Can you find playmakers at wide receiver? That's the biggest thing that you look for in a day like this.
Yeah, I think the offensive side of the ball is the biggest concern for everybody, and a consistent developer there at quarterback or somebody can deliver the ball, make the throws you got to make. Not necessarily make the the unbelievable NFL type throws, but the throws that can get first downs, extend possessions, keep the offense on the field. You look down on the defensive side of the ball. What's going to stand out to you over there? I'm looking forward to seeing some guys like Jason Jones and maybe Dylan Brooks, who's been at Auburn now for a couple of years, was highly touted out of high school, a 5-star, was the #1 overall recruit in the state of Alabama for a long time, chose Tennessee, went away from Tennessee, came to Auburn. 3 edge rushers on scholarship for Auburn. Going to need him to step up, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, no. I called him, and I wrote something today. I called him the most important player on the team right now, in my opinion. Obviously, quarterback notwithstanding, but you look at they got 2 guys. You got Derek Hall, you got Ikuliota. Dylan Brooks is the 3rd guy at the edge position. You absolutely have to have him to be ready to play and to be ready to play at a high level. You don't have any choice. Obviously, I think they'll go get a guy in the edge, in the portal, maybe 2. But Dylan Brooks needs to be that guy because right now you look at it, you might be able to play 2 of those guys at the same time on 3rd down at the moment, but there's no way you can play Ikuliota and Derek Hall every play for 75% of the snaps on defense like they did last year. But especially not if Dylan Brooks isn't ready. And so he's got to show that he's ready to take that next step and be a guy. So this is, it's been an important spring, but Saturday's his chance to kind of showcase and see what he can do.
Yeah, and linebackers too, Jason. Owen Papo hopefully will be 100% this year, trying to get through that high ankle sprain and get through some nagging stuff that he dealt with last year that caused him to miss the majority of the season. He'll anchor that, but got some guys that have an opportunity to step up, and the linebackers could be a bright spot on this team.
Yeah, I think you look at Cam Riley, Wesley Steiner, Joko Willis is a guy that's done some good things in the spring, and then I think you look at it, Eugene Asante coming in from North Carolina. He's got some experience, a former 4-star guy. It kind of reminds you a little bit of of Jacoby McClain in terms of being a smaller guy with some speed, kind of a downhill guy. But you're right. There's some talent at linebacker. They've got some depth there. Powell Gordon coming in as a true freshman, so they've got some options there. But to me, Cam Riley's the guy to watch. They don't have a guy that's 6'5", 235 at linebacker other than him. He's Carlos Dansby kind of
he's huge.
ability. Can he become that kind of guy and turn it loose and become a weapon on defense? That's what they're looking for. They don't have one of those guys at linebacker. Maybe he can be that guy.
Jason, real quick, got about 3 minutes. I want to ask you about basketball before we get off. Bruce Pearl mentioned that they're going to utilize the portal. Maybe have had an opportunity to bring in a few guys that weren't a good mesh for this team. Just talk about that. Anybody out there that you think Auburn will end up landing that's out there? It's a high-profile guy right now.
Yeah, I don't know about if they'll end up getting him. I think the question. I think Brandon Murray, LSU transfer guys. These guys are. You look at around the country, and everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's going to get experienced guys out of the portal. It's one of the ways to win and to keep winning. And so I think he's a guy there. I think big man at NC State. Big man at Morehead State. A couple of guys that could be longer bodies, big possibilities. But I think job number one for them is to get a wing, a guy that can score from the wing. Obviously, if you get a shooter, that's great, but you need a scorer from the wing and a guy that can defend, those 6'6", 6'7" guard forward types out on the perimeter. I think that's what they're looking for. I think that's the goal right now.
Yeah, and Bruce Pearl mentioned this week, he didn't mince words. He came out and said, we just didn't shoot the ball worth of what. And that's really a summation. We just couldn't hit open shots. You hit open shots, Auburn probably is in the Sweet 16, maybe making a run again. But toward the end of the season, it was really Jabari Smith hitting shots and then couldn't find anybody else to go with him. And turnovers plagued the team. Just kind of your thoughts on that comment.
Yeah, I thought there was some, but I thought this team really wasn't made to play in the half court because they didn't have a guy that could penetrate and do those things. And I thought back, I watched Jared Harper and watched the ball movement from that team and thinking about the comparison to this year where the ball just became stagnant. It was an NBA look almost at the end of the year for Auburn where it was one-on-one moves, Jabari Smith posting up and shooting turnaround jumper. There wasn't a ton of ball movement. That's the thing they got to get. And can you find a guy from the wing that can knock down some shots, but also get to the free throw line? I mean, the more of those you get, they had some open shots. There wasn't a ton of open shots.
Right.
A lot of the things they had were contested, and I think you just got to be a little bit better than half court, and to do that, you got to have some guys get to the rim.
No doubt. Jason, hey, man, appreciate you always spending some time with us on Friday. Have a good weekend, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. That's Jason Caldwell with Inside the Auburn Tigers. One final segment coming up on the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Need that boost to get you started in the morning or help get you through a long day at the office? Alex City Nutrition is your answer. Alex City Nutrition, located on 2nd Broad Street in downtown Alex City, offers meal replacement shakes, post-workout shakes, extreme rebuild products, and a vast array of loaded teas that offer focus, energy, and build up your immunity and overall health. Want to buy in bulk? We now offer your favorite flavors by the gallon. Come by Alex City Nutrition today or call 256-496-8284 to begin your journey to great health.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on the Auburn Blitz. Enjoyed catching up with Jason Caldwell there. He'll be covering ADay tomorrow. It's a good opportunity to go take the family. 1 o'clock start tomorrow at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Get a chance to see some of the players that haven't donned an Auburn uniform yet. Robbie Ashford, Jason Jones, some of those tight guys that you'll see, Jeffrey Embaugh, that'll be, out there playing, and kind of get a future look at some of those. Some you won't be able to see. Jarquez Hunter's out with an injury. Marquise Burks is out. Owen Papo will be sidelined. Obviously, Zach Calzada, you won't see him able to throw much or anything tomorrow. He won't be participating. But those guys will be heading into fall, and hopefully, as Jason said, add some guys in the portal in some need positions like edge rusher. You'll get to see Dylan Brooks, who's going to be depended on, as Jason said, maybe the second most important guy on the team right now outside of the quarterback, because Iku Leota and Derek Hall, the only two seasoned edge rushers we got, and they can't stay on the field the whole time. So
two good ones too.
They are.
So if you've got some decent backup, let's say if Dylan Brooks is not up to their standard, but just a slight step back, that's going to really help out this Auburn team, because I think those two guys are as – if you want to talk about strengths of this Auburn football team, I think you would start with those two guys on the defensive side of the ball, along with Kobe Wooden.
Kobe Wooden right there on the defensive line as well. I think Auburn's got a lot of talent up front as far as what they're going to be able to roll out there with Jason Jones and Jeffrey Embaugh and Marquise Burks when he gets healthy, the guys you just mentioned. I think linebackers have a chance to be pretty good.
I'm worried about that position.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people high on that linebacking core right now, and you get that transfer.
I'm confused why. I mean, why?
Well, you got
just from a transfer.
You got a good
position.
transfer guy coming in from North Carolina. You got a Cam Riley that's increased his size from 6'2" to almost 6'5"
Yeah,
now.
but you're needing to spin that one in his favor because we haven't seen enough of him to have an opinion.
I think there's a lot of potential there. I think
Wesley Steiner. I saw him a lot on the on special teams last year.
We've seen guys take the next step.
I hope so.
in this defense before, and
it's the part of the defense I'm most concerned about. I think we're pretty good in the secondary. I think when you see DJ James come over and you've got the pieces already in place at the corner position, we're going to be pretty good there.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I believe that. I think we're going to be maybe well above average on the defensive front. I am concerned about linebacking core, and that would be the one position that I hope that I can be proven wrong, because otherwise I think we got a chance to be pretty good on the defensive
side. I think defensively, I think we're going to be okay. There's just still those answers on offense. We're not going to know the answers to them till you get the play going, and really do you get into the season, and really that first test is going to be Penn State. The first 3 games are a warm-up. Then you got Penn State coming in. It's going to be a nationally televised game. Penn State's got great talent. They're coached very well with Jason Franklin or James Franklin. They'll come in, and that'll be a barometer for this Auburn team. Went up and played great at Happy Valley last year. Made a couple mistakes early in the second half. It cost us the game, but you'll have them at home. So Auburn needs to defend their home turf. And Auburn get off to a 4-0 start. Things can kind of start rolling for them. But, you lose that game, then the naysayers and the doubters are going to come out again. Shifting over a couple things before we get off the air. Baseball in action with Vanderbilt at home. Hey, look, baseball kind of getting it done right now. They're able to go on the road and get a series win over LSU. Some quick hitters here. Says Auburn's coming off back-to-back SEC Road Series wins. Dating back to last season, has won 4 straight for the first time since the 97-98 season.
Well, that's saying something. And from an SEC standpoint, I think since, say, 2000, has Auburn had a better than 500 mark in SEC play, I think 3 times in the last 20-some-odd years.
Yeah, kind of go along with that. This will be, if they're able to beat Vanderbilt, this will be 3 consecutive series wins for the first time since 17.
To me, that's a stat that I think that we would like to see kind of pull in Auburn's favor, is if we can start having a plus 500 mark in SEC play consistently, then Butch Thompson would have turned the corner, because that has been few and far between since Hal Baird left the Plains.
A couple more quick hitters for baseball. Auburn's only played 1 game in the last 20 days at Plainsman Park, so they've been getting all this done on the road. So that's a good thing. Auburn been able to go on the road and get it done. They've got a good Vanderbilt team who just got swept, though, by Tennessee.
Yep.
So they'll be hungry for some wins. A good Vanderbilt team. Don't let that fool you. They're still going to bring a really good team in. They're 9 wins away from home and are tied for the most in the SEC this season. So Auburn, again, being able to get it done on the road. Just some good things there. Auburn can come out Friday. They'll have Hayden Mullins on the mound to start, and then they'll come back with Trace Bright on Saturday, and then Joseph Gonzalez, who's 3-0 on the season, with a 2.31 ERA going on that Sunday matchup there against Vanderbilt. So Auburn right now getting it done, starting pitching. The bullpen's been a little shaky, but Auburn really getting it done at the plate. They're able to score runs. It's what's causing them to win these games. On the softball side, Auburn's got another tough one on the road against Arkansas. Auburn's 29-6, 7-5 in the league. They'll go to number 10 Arkansas, 25-7, 6-3 in the league. Auburn's let a couple series get away from them. They lost that Kentucky series on the road. They won the opener against Florida last week, lost game 2, and then had a close one get away from them in that 3rd game. So Auburn's dropped a couple of series here lately, but still sitting really good, 7-5, one of the top teams in the country. And you have to be in this conference because everybody else is pretty much ranked too.
Well, the money's getting spent. The players are coming to the complexes that are being built and the programs that are constantly winning. And Auburn had it there. Can we get it back there? Maddie Pinto really throwing it well. 18 wins on the season, 3rd in the country. already second all-time for Auburn.
Right.
That's pretty strong when you've got 27 wins and 18 of them coming from one player.
No doubt about it. A couple other notes here as we close out. Reds spoiled the Braves' debut last night after the World Series. 6-2. Reds get the win. The Masters on as well. Tiger Woods just teed off 1 under. Everybody didn't know if he'd play or not, so we'll see. Wind will be blowing over there in Augusta. Can Tiger make a run this weekend? That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Auburn Blitz. For Randy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you did. See you next week.